I got blown up 3 separate times in Iraq. Flatlined, died while I was over there, pronounced dead, which kind of jacked up my family. And then about 2 weeks later, they actually found out what actually happened was when I died, they, of course, ran it up the communication train. At the time, I was a senior staff NCO. So someone dies like that, it's big. It's big.
You are now locked in for the Comeback Kings podcast. Let's go!
All right, fellas, listen up. I'm about to let you in on a little secret that could save you thousands of dollars every single year. Why keep spending big money every month just to watch your favorite shows and sports, especially when there's Renegade TV? I used to pay monthly for YouTube TV, Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, and because I couldn't catch my favorite teams locally, I had to drop even more money on NFL Sunday tickets, NBA League Pass, MLB TV. It was sickening. Then I found Renegade TV. One device, one low price, and you get live access to every major sports league, NFL, NBA, MLB, UFC, you name it, you got it. You also get all the newest releases and thousands of movies and shows on demand. No subscriptions, no monthly fees, no hidden fees. Just one setup and you're set. So now I'm saving hundreds of dollars every month and easily thousands every single year. So go to streamrenegadetv.com and use code CBK2025 to save $50 at checkout. What's up, world? We're back for another episode of the Comeback Kings podcast. I'm your host, AJ, and today I've got a very good friend of mine with me here today. This brother made a cameo in The Comeback Code, the book that I wrote, and so glad you guys are going to get a chance to hear this King story today. Happy to have him with us. All the way from Mexico today, Dr. Obom Bowen
in the house.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Well, Aaron, if I was better, I'll be twice as good looking and half as sexy as you. But you know, I'm still working on the other part. So,
well, don't tell me how the story ends. Don't tell me how it ends.
Stuck in the middle. No, I'm great, man. I'm enjoying a beautiful. It's actually a cloudy day. It's beautiful because it's beautiful here, but if you look out in contrast, it's a little forecast out there, but the water is still good. The scene is still great. What I'm looking at is the skyline of Mazatlan. Is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's being built. The beach is down below. My wife and daughter is out at the pool, so it couldn't get any better than right now, man.
Oh my God. So you got beach life in the wintertime.
Beach life in the wintertime, right? The coldest it gets here is like 70. So it's that's about as cold as it gets.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to send me an invite as soon as we get off here today.
Hey,
I'm on my way.
That invite's always open, brother. It's Mexico. We live an easy life here. As I was sharing with you earlier, my life is easy. Me and my 7-year-old just had a daddy-daughter date, and she made life very festive yesterday. So I'm good.
Hey, yeah. I couldn't see the colors too good. Was that red and blue or red and green?
Oh, yeah. We got, all right. So we got blue, red, pink, another color called alien. I don't know what that is. Black, purple. And then the other hand is the same thing. And the feet are just about the same too, bro. So 7-year-old Manny Petty, the best thing they have.
All right, man. And I appreciate that you didn't show the feet. You know, that's
no, we're not going
involved.
there. We're not going.
Right. Well, listen, like I said, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. You and I, we've been talking about this for almost a year and a half now, right? About putting this project in play, what we're trying to do here. And I'm so glad that people are going to get a chance to hear from you and what it is that you're doing out in the world. So do us a favor as we get started. Just introduce yourself. Let us know where you're at, what you're doing, what you got going on that you're excited about, and we'll roll from there.
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to be on and share with you, man. We've been chopping it up for a while, but for those who are either listening in or following you, don't know who I am, besides being this bald, cool, good-looking dude that you see based on your impression. My background was in the military. I think you know that for sure. My background, 20 years as a Marine, served. I got blown up 3 separate times in Iraq. Flatlined, died while I was over there, pronounced dead, which kind of jacked up my family. And then about 2 weeks later, they actually found out what actually happened was when I died, they, of course, ran it up the communication train. At the time, I was a senior staff NCO. So someone dies like that, it's big. It's big. But when they resuscitated me back, they were so excited that folks forgot to run that up. So there was only one bit of information went up. So it was still thought that I know. So long story short, I'm here, knock on wood, made it back. I'd gotten back from Iraq, went into a real bad divorce, right? Ended up from my injuries, I was homeless. I was in a wheelchair for 9 months, right? But then I got introduced to the direct sales industry and personal development, turned my life around, and did a lot of great things, wrote several books. 5 of them have been international bestsellers, sold millions of copies of those. Have a lot of fun, did a whole lot of things, built and sold. My wife and I now over 112 different businesses. My passion now is investing. I invest a lot. I give back a lot. Originally was born in Guyana in South America. So I do a lot of giving back there. We have a school, an education program to which we kind of sow into a lot there. Guyana discovered oil several years ago, moving itself with that oil money, which is good. They're in the same place Dubai is right now, where Dubai was 36 years ago. So Guyana in the last 5 years moved from GDP wise, from number 139 to the 9th largest GDP in the world. So their natural resources, gold, oil, bauxite, rice, sugar. So in that space, I do a lot of commodities trading and all that stuff now on a large scale for different investors and governments, large purchases. So a lot of those things help move the GDP for Guyana. So that's very fun for me. I'm excited. I do a lot of masterminds and stuff, but I still do a lot of coaching, consulting, but the majority of the time I spend time with my little one. I have 4 kids, but my 7-year-old daughter is kind of the current joy because my other kids are 25, 27, and 35, right? So the baby gets the brunt of my time and energy. But that's me in a nutshell, man. Spend a lot of time with that and just kind of enjoying this season of life.
Don't forget, the conversation continues inside the CBK mobile app. This is the premier community for content, conversations, and resources, all built to help our kings get back on track. Inside the app, you'll get exclusive after-show clips, direct access to podcast guests, and insider interviews with industry experts on everything from health and wealth to relationships and spirituality. You'll also unlock member-only deals designed for the needs of real men, plus tools and training to fuel your personal comeback. Come network with fellow kings from around the world and be a part of the global movement, helping men rise from setbacks and rebuild a life that they're proud of, with purpose, strength, and community. Join the movement now. Download the free Comeback Kings mobile app at cbknetwork.com. That's awesome, man. And I know, and I don't know if you were going to go into this, but I do know that I've seen you traveling all over the place right now, right? And sometimes I see you in different parts of the world. So talk to me about this lifestyle that you've created recently and how that came about. Like what made you put that in motion?
Yeah. So if I can be completely, well, I know I can because it's your show, be completely transparent. It all started because of sex. I'll just put it out there right now. So, my wife's 8 years younger than me.
I did not expect that answer, by the way,
right.
Just so you know. I did not expect that at all.
Well, that's the truth. So listen, my wife's, my wife, she's young, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, great heart. We are a phenomenal couple together. We've planned to have this child now, 12 years in the making, but we made a commitment like 20 years ago that we were going to build the foundation of our life to do what I've always wanted to do. And I've always said to folks that I wanted to travel the world and be gone for 6 months at a time in 2 different hemispheres, right? So that was the 20-year plan. And a lot of folks used to laugh at me like, dude, for real? It's like, it's okay. No one had to believe that. So that was always the goal in the back of my head. And we wanted to plan based on my past, which was being homeless. That's when my wife met me. She was actually in the car with me for 4 of those 5 years. We weren't even married then. So that's a ride or die right there for you. Right. So she helped me through a lot of stuff. And she's the one that told me the truth. Like, dude, you were screwed up, like beyond repair. You need help. You need to get your shit together. So, we became really, really good friends, man. She kept things real. Then eventually we got married. We planned to have kids, but we had a specific financial blueprint we wanted, right? So that's how all that initially started. We had to generate so much income. Then we were going to have the kids. What I didn't tell you is before that, I did have a vasectomy. So then we had to spend money enough to reverse that shit too. And then the vasectomy was,
oh my God.
yeah, we had to reverse that, man. So we had to go get that done. Then, we'd gotten pregnant with our daughter now, and she was a triplet. So 2 boys didn't make it, but the girl did. According to her siblings, they said she was greedy. She ate her brothers, but that's how they dealt with it, right? So we got her. We had as much money as we needed. I started investing. My wife and I started investing and doing real estate. Then we started flipping businesses, just like, I said, if this can work for real estate, can it work for businesses? And then we started flipping businesses. We did that over 100 times. That worked out very well. Then we started traveling the world, enjoying ourselves. Well, COVID happened a couple of years ago. We all know that. And we were traveling all over the place. COVID happened. The world opened back up. And the only place that was open up was Mexico. So we snuck out to Mexico. And then I got introduced to this all-inclusive lifestyle. So 3 years ago, we didn't know whether the world was going to, whether the world was going to shut down or not. So I said, well, I was introduced to this lifestyle. What if I can just live 52 weeks in a resort, don't have to pay for food, cooking, cleaning, none of that shit. And my wife's like, yeah, let's take a 3-week vacation. Well, in that 3 weeks, well, back up before that, I was already softly complaining to my wife, like, babe, our bedroom life is slowing down a little bit. And the truth was, at the time, our daughter was almost 3. She was still sleeping in the bed with us, which means you can't really get it on, kids sleeping in there. My wife turned to me. She's like, listen, by the time the day's over, I'm tired. When I finish cooking, cleaning, and taking care of the kid, your kid, you get what you get. So I was like, I saw that shit as a challenge. Let's take a vacation for 3 weeks. So we went on vacation for 3 weeks. She didn't have to cook. She didn't have to clean. She didn't have to do anything. So naturally, the excuse went away, and she was calling me in the middle of the afternoon for some bound to go around town, and I fell in love with that shit. So I said, listen, how much longer can I keep this up? And, they called me. If you ever been to like a timeshare presentation, the hotel had that, and I told them, it's like, listen, at the resort, I already have 2 timeshares. I don't need another one. They're like, well, we have a vacation lifestyle program. I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more about it. If you can give me the same stuff I had the last 3 weeks for the next 52 weeks, you got me. So they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I didn't care how much it cost because I was getting laid every day. So, I mean, if you look at me, you might think that I'm black. I'm not. Since then, I became Persian because, Persians, I get laid like a rug. So it all started because of sex. So,
oh my God.
So we bought this plan to basically just live around the world in resorts wherever you want to on an all-inclusive plan. No cooking, no cleaning, all you can eat, all you can drink. And in the beginning, it sounded just like what it sounds like. You eat and drink all you want. So 68 pounds later, I realized you need a personal trainer, bro. You need to get your shit together.
I was going to ask you how you were fitting that all in. Yeah.
No, 68 pounds later, when no clothes fit, I hired a friend of mine. I brought him out for a week, who basically slapped my hand on almost everything I was choosing on the menu, which was all sugar based and all the, it's like, listen, I ate my dessert and everything first and had all my sugary drinks. And then he gave us a workout routine and showed us what and how to eat. 3 months later, some of that was reduced and gone. It's been 2.5 years now, and I've reduced all that weight. Look, my body, my mind, my health is so much better living at an all-inclusive now because everything that I want is there when I want it. I don't have to chase after the food anymore. I know it's going to come. 24-hour room service. You need it. It's there, right? So this has become the lifestyle. We're spending a lot of time now in Mexico because my wife is Mexican and her family's from the area we're at now. But we're focused on getting our daughter to learn not just the language, but the culture. So she get not just the language, but get the syntax with the language and the culture and the natural way to do that. So once that sinks in, we're probably going to go to Europe a little bit and do Asia for a bit too. One of my new projects is in Asia, so I'm going to be spending a lot of time there as well. But that's the lifestyle now, man. And I don't think my wife already says there's no way you can pay her to go back and live in any size house anywhere, because that means she still has to cook and clean And even if you have to hire a maid and everyone else, that's still too much headache to think about payroll, to do all that other shit. So she would rather just live at a resort, don't have to worry about it. That bill's already paid for the next 20 years and we're good. But that's how it all happened, man. It's because I wanted to get laid. My wife is open to the opportunity, and I'm gonna keep getting laid and give her what she wants. Happy wife, satisfied husband. That's my new mantra.
Just work on it for a little bit and see if you can make it rhyme somehow. That was real lazy how you put that together.
Hey, but it's the truth. I'll work on it. Go ahead.
Listen,
my bad.
there might be, 100,000 kings out there that hear this eventually, and they will all be thinking the same thing. Man, that brother, he did what to get laid? So you are creating a blueprint right now. I remember we had a mentor a long time ago. He said, sometimes all you need is an example, right? Of somebody else that has done something to, whether it's to expand your horizons or, to give you something else to shoot for. So congratulations on that, man. That sounds like an amazing lifestyle.
Thanks, man. In all honesty, at the end of the day, what do we really want? What do we need? Like for me, I mean, my wife's my best friend. Love her. I don't have eyes for any other woman. Don't need anything else. Have all my needs satisfied. That's one of our base needs, right? And I know what I need in order to live the life how I want it. I have to be financially independent of needing anything else. And for me, wealth is defined as being able to do what you want, when you want, wherever and with whomever you want without having to work, right? So I know that requires a lot of income. I retired my wife since 2011. She's happy. She's excited. We had no problem. I don't want it to sound as if it's this way. No problem in that area until like the birth of our child. But it wasn't that she was a problem. We spent a lot of time with her. But when that part was taken away from my norm, my mind was like, listen, how do I get that norm back? Because that norm helps me to function and helps me to fit. And my wife, she's not an excuse-driven person. She's just like, listen, here's the facts. We homeschool. So by the time I finish cooking, cleaning, taking care of her, I got no time to give you what you want, bro. So let's see about fixing that. I'm like, all right, in the meanwhile, we're doing that. Let's take a vacation. And then I stumbled on the answer. I'm like, shit, I can afford it. So this is what we're going to do. And she's like, I'm game. Right. So we figured it out we figured it out. And, to all the other kings out there, whatever makes you happy, be willing to do the work, be willing to show up, be willing to be consistent at what it takes to make what you need happen and remain doing that consistently. Other than that, that's your happiness. And then when you're done, give back, because there's no way for you to just take and keep and not give back. That's the part of the suffering for us. We were created to build, to keep, to enjoy, but give back. Each one, teach one, and then just reach down, help the other brother out, help another sister out, give back. That's huge, man. So that's what makes my heart happy, when I have the chance to give someone else the chance, or as you said, the blueprint to just follow it, right? And then just give back without the expectation of receiving.
Yes, sir, man. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. And before we wrap up, I want to make sure that if you do have a blueprint or some kind of information, you want to spread the word or spread the love with the kings on the call here. So we'll definitely give them that opportunity to check you out.
Absolutely.
But let's do this. You mentioned a couple of times during the story that, it hasn't always been rosy, right?
No.
Whether it's, would you say there was a divorce in there, you were homeless at one point in time. Talk us through that, because part of the reason we put this whole podcast together was It is easy when you're going through something to feel like, man, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody in the face of the earth. Right. Yeah. And then you hear somebody else's story. You're like, well, maybe mine wasn't as bad. Yeah. But it still doesn't make the problem necessarily go away. So the whole point of this is for us to talk through some of these things that are not openly discussed, and then talk about how we got out of them. So clear, you're out the other side right now, right? You're living the life that you intended, the life that you guys designed together. What did it take to get there, and where were you? Can you take us through that?
Yeah. Well, you gotta first go back to like the emotional state I was in the middle of all of that stuff. That emotional state was, that's it, done, I'm gonna give up. But before that, I used to think like people who wanted to take their life, and this was just the young, ignorant version of me, right? Of, they're just stupid, they're pussies. somebody take your life. That's it. And then I got into that place where I came back from Iraq after being blown up for the third time. It was, PTSD, TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury, to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from being in combat for over an extensive time, dying, flatline dying, coming back, lost some of my memory for a while, just devastated, and then coming back, and my wife at the time was pregnant with someone else's kid, right? So that's like all that stuff was going on. So
Oh,
talk
whoa,
about
hold on. Slow. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I feel like you just threw me for a loop there. So you come back and tell me that part again about your wife.
yeah. So my wife, I was married to while I was in the military, was pregnant 3 months with someone else's kid. So wasn't mine.
And
So
you
with
didn't
all
know
the
that
stuff
until you got back?
till they got back, of course.
Oh my God.
So with everything going on, you think about, where was my mind at this time, right? The feeling of being worthless, the doubt. I was already prone to depression, so that was part of what happened with the injury: the suicide ideation, depression, PTSD, the insomnia, all this stuff that was going on. To come and find that, then the separation and the divorce, right at the same time I'm getting out of the military now, right? So then losing custody of my kids. You want to talk about piling stuff on someone. So I end up in court, lost custody because the judge said I was financially irresponsible. Anyways, to not get too much into the emotion of that, but you hear that, regardless of what you know, is my mind is fighting with, like, what is true, what is not true, where am I at, what is my value. So I have nothing else left other than my car. Everything else is gone. And whatever I have, then I put what couldn't fit in the car. Had it in a storage facility. This is in the middle of California. I couldn't even afford an air conditioned storage. So you spend time in California in August, it's hot as ever, right? It's hot.
Right.
I have like books and some other stuff in there. And, a friend of mine who heard what was going on, he was trying to give me an opportunity. This was to work in direct sales. So I got introduced to it initially, but I was like, no, it sounds like a scam. Nothing to deal with me. I'm in my storage facility, all this going on, kind of just thinking about everything else. And the only answer was like, the only way out is just to end it. Just, I had a 38. It was only just to pull the trigger and that's it. And I'm sitting there thinking about my life. I couldn't see a way out. I'm sitting on a box. It's in the middle of the afternoon. It's probably been 3-4 hours, crying, sweating. And, the sweat and everything is dripping down on the box because I'm in a non-AC unit and it's just drenched there. You can't, I got nowhere to go sleep. You can't sleep in your storage unit. It's illegal to do that. But I'm there. I got nowhere to go. The box breaks. I fall, and obviously I didn't pull the trigger. Thank God. That's the only thing I ever quit at or failed at, that to admit. Crazy thing of all, there was books in the box, which I probably should have been reading anyways. The one that fell out was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And after,
Great book.
I was like, listen, let me just pick it up and start reading, right? First chapter, desire. Desire is what basically keeps you up at night. So started reading about desire. Knowing what I know now, it changed the mental rewiring or framing in my mind. And I started thinking about my daughters. And the only reason I was there and I didn't pull the trigger right away was my thought pattern then was, what's going to happen to my daughters, who were 6 and 8 at the time, financially. And to my understanding, if I had killed myself, they wouldn't have gotten the military life insurance that I had. So my goal was, how do I get myself then murdered, like get somebody to kill me so they could have the insurance? So you think about
that's
it.
Deep, man. That feels like that was a long period of time that you must have been going through that thought process.
Thinking that was about 18 months in a total of a 5-year process, right? It was in trying to figure it out. There was more, as the saying goes, way more month at the end of the money. There was nothing. But I had started reading that book, and it started talking about desire. What my desire was to make sure that my kids were fine before I was gone, right? So for me, now I call it the great seduction. Depending on everybody else and their belief, I believe God, when you set your intention, God will seduce you with what it is you want, right? That seduction was, well, what do I want? I want my kids to be taken care of. And whenever you have an intention for something, right, disruption always follows intention. So my intent was, hey, I need them to be taken care of before I'm gone. Well, the disruption came in the form of doing the things I didn't want to do. I didn't desire to do. So thinking of possibilities and opportunities, my mind faltered back to, well, my buddy talked to me about this opportunity. And I was like, well, I got nothing else to do. At least I can hear him out and see, because it's a way to make some money. So I can at least until I figure out what I need to do. It's funny, since this whole thing started with sex, right? Talking about, I went to the gym the next day to get a shower there, because I still had access to the base. I was retired, right? So that's where I used to go and shower. At least that time when I was homeless, I was the most in shape homeless person you'll ever find. Because in order to get a shower, I went on base, went to the gym, work out, and had a shower. But that morning, I'm going in to the gym to work out, and I keep hearing like a whole bunch of chicks' voice, like, ha, 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 right? And they were in spandex, whatever. There was this woman leading a kickboxing class, and all the attendees in there were women. So I cracked the door, and I was like, I ain't, like, they look good, but I ain't going in there. And she saw me and called me in. And it's funny because I can't do nothing. I went in, and for the next 6 months, I was doing kickboxing in the morning with ladies, nothing but women, who turned out to be
sneaky
probably
dog. You
listen,
sneaky dog.
I'm the great seduction. The good Lord knew what I wanted, right? So, but listen, man.
Had you in there like Buddy Love, huh?
So through the release of endorphins, working out every day, that changes the rewiring of your mind, of everything. So then I had something to look forward to every single day. In my head, at least it was a bunch, was women, right? Say, hey, maybe I might get, who knows? I've never even did anything with any of them. However, a third of them end up joining me in the opportunity, right? So I started making some money, and that's how I met my wife, because she was with the same opportunity that we were both involved with in the beginning. And I met my wife, and first time I saw her, I was like, damn, she fine as hell. Now, my wife was an athlete, and I like them petite, and she had a nice little booty, big old calves, long, flowing, curly black hair. That shit like got me. So I went to basically
I'm
her.
clearly going to have to put a disclaimer on this episode, by the way.
You probably would, man. But I went over and I talked to her, and I don't even know what came over me within the first conversation, but within the first 3 minutes, I told her she was going to be my wife. And from there, I had something to pursue. And that lasted the next 7 years. We became friends. We were friends for 3 years. We dated for 3 years, then got engaged at 7. We got married. And in that 7 years, we built 2 very successful businesses. I wrote 3 books. We launched our first relationship company, right? All those things happened. Kind of going back, like I said, it's the great seduction that changed everything. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't easy, but it was all worth it in the long run. And what started it for me, it wasn't the money, wasn't anything else. It was the hope of doing something better for my kids before I left. And in part of that process was trying to find a way for somebody to kill me so my kids can get the insurance money. Right. But in that process of reading and developing, there's something that happens when your mind is made aware of certain things that you actually desire. Chemically, things are released into the brain, into the body. If you truly want it, you truly desire it, you'll do whatever it takes to get it. So awareness then leads to choice. Choice leads to action. Action leads to change, and change creates results. Right. If you stay in line with those things. So the life now is a result of, in a sense, having a new awareness, be willing to work, having a new awareness, and just kept going to then figuring out what it is I truly wanted. But during that time, it wasn't fun. It wasn't easy. It was messy. There were days that I didn't eat unless I actually sold something. And then I realized years ago, the number one skill in the world, the highest paid skill in the world is sales. If you don't, and everything is a sale. You want your kids to go to bed and not have candy late, you got to sell them on the value of going to bed. And some parents might just threaten them with a good ass whipping, and kids don't want an ass whipping, so they'll go to sleep, right? But it don't. It's still a sales that happened, right? That's they bought through fear.
Right.
But you have to learn how to incentivize people, because in life it's either two things: we're either pulled by vision or pushed by pain. So you have to figure out what your client's motivation is. I have to figure out what my own motivation is, and I know mine. Mine has always been sex. So if I can get that specifically with one woman, I'm good. Like I'm letting sleep around. In order to get a lot of that, you need to make a lot of money, or you're going to get too much and not make enough money and go down spirally for that. No, because a lot of great men have fell because of women, right? And it's not just because of women. It's because of the sex, the underlying thing, right? You give anyone, man or woman, access to three things, and this tells you what their character is. It's money, sex, and power. You give them money, you give them access to those three things, you will find the true testament of their character. So even though, and I talk about sex a lot now, and here's the thing, it's not like when I met my wife, we were friends for 3 years, dated for 3 years, got engaged. That entire 7 years, bro, we didn't do nothing. I didn't even kiss her on the lips. I did it right. Now, since we got married, I've been making up for lost time. So that's a whole different story, right? That's a whole different ballgame. But through that whole
I have a whole bunch more questions for that, but we'll have to do that another time. Yeah. But that sounds like a little bit much.
That's it, man. It was a very hard struggle. I don't knock it. I'm happy you're this side of the fence, but at every level there's still struggle, right? Every level there's still struggle. I don't wish that one on anyone else, but I will say whenever you're going through, you have to slow down and really focus on what it is you really want and what you're really willing to do to get it. Because when you're going through, it's tough, man. It's very, very tough.
Yeah. You actually answered what I was going to ask you next, which is, looking back on that, definitely a very pivotal time in your life. And the question is that for anybody else who might be out there, like that's at that point or feels like it's getting to that point, how do you turn it around?
Yeah.
How do you keep your head in the game so that you can still make an impact? Because you've done some amazing stuff that nobody would have gotten to experience had you followed through with what your plan was at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's crazy to think, of this world without you. So, and just as an aside, for those of you that have not read the book, this is something, I've known Dr. Obom for a long time. Maybe even before you were Dr. Obom, right? So I had no clue that you were going through this at that particular time that you were going through, because I knew you then, right? So it's like, how many times do we as men talk just real lazy with each other? And it's, hope you're good, or
right.
All of this stuff when you're really not, we're not either communicating to them or they're not communicating to us, and we just let it slide.
Yeah.
And all this time, we see this bubbly Obom, have no clue what you're going through inside.
Right. That's crazy, man. It's funny because, well, not funny. It's funny now, but I went to a seminar. Friend bought me, well, he had an extra ticket. And I went to this seminar with Jim Rohn. And this was right after I started with that opportunity. One of the things he said was, you have to be the person that, in a sense, determine who you are by choosing who you are in the hour, not the day. And that hit me. It still sticks with me. It's like you have to decide who you are hour by hour, right? Which is then minute by minute, and decide what you want and go get it. And then for me, over the years, I dove into it more, and I put it as because for me, it was always been success in any area of life, relationships, whatever. But my definition of it is success is first is discovering your purpose for your life. That's you got to discover what that is. And it's not like mine is to simplify the complicated. Then developing yourself in that purpose. That means like the personal development, which has to be personal to you, right? In life, faith, relationships, whatever it is. Then developing yourself in that purpose. So if you discover what it is you want, and then you develop yourself for that, and then develop that within yourself, so you become the best version of what it is then what you're doing is you're building value into the thing, right? Mm-hmm. And Napoleon Hill was the one who said, like, you basically spend all this money into something, or spend money on something, until you spend so much time on the thing and it becomes the most valuable thing, and then you'll earn more money for delivering that thing, especially when you've mastered that thing and you can now deliver it simpler than anyone else. And since my gift was taking the complicated and making it simple, I was like, well, shit, I just have to start focusing on making things simple enough people understand. Like, for some people it's very hard, but the easiest thing for me now is being a commodities broker. But, and it's not, here's what happens. You have this guy over here wants to buy a boatload of commodity. This guy over here wants to sell it, but they don't know how to communicate to each other. So sometimes putting them together, I have to communicate what they want, what they have, what is required to get them to talk. And then sometimes when they talk, they screw it up. So you got to be there in the middle to make sure that they communicate effectively. Because, listen, my broker fee is merging on this and you guys are screwing up your own deal. How hard can that be? You have what he wants. He's willing to pay for it, but you guys ain't communicating right. So when I figured out that my goal was to simplify the complicated, I was like, oh, snap. Where can I do it? Did it in coaching, did it in consulting, did it in direct sales, did it in sales, did it in relationships. I'm like, oh, smart. Like sometimes, like this morning, with my wife and my daughter, they're having a conversation. My daughter wants to do what she wants to do. My wife says she's going downstairs to go get something for her. So my daughter's like, oh, no problem. Mom, I'm going to get dressed so I can come with you. So my wife's like, I'm not going to the store. Because what she heard was my daughter woke up, she wanted to go to the store. So her focus is the store, right? And right. My wife's telling her, and they're having this debate going back and forth. And I'm on the outside looking, and I'm like, no. So I have to step in like, hey, and I have to get very authoritative. It's like, you are not going anywhere. Your mother just told you she's going downstairs. She's not going outside. Sit down, go pick up your school book, and your mom will get back. She's not going to the store. And then my wife looks at me, and my daughter looks at me, and I said, you need to learn to listen. And I turned to my wife over in the corner because we don't like to let her sit. I said, babe, you need to communicate instead of debating back and forth with her. Simplifying the complicated for them. Because in the morning, they're both emotional. Wife didn't have her coffee, which is what she was going downstairs to get. And this one...
That's dangerous for everybody.
Bro.
Right? That's dangerous for everybody. Yep.
Right? So she don't just go down to get her coffee. It's a whole thing for her. If she says, I'm going downstairs to get my coffee, she goes downstairs to get her coffee. She makes 2 extra coffees, and she takes them for the teachers at the kids club, right? Because they converse and they talk. That's her time in the morning that she spends and communicates to get her girl time. Then when she's done, by that time, the little one is finished. She's finishing her homework, going over her stuff, get done. She comes back to teach her school, do whatever. She already knows, my daughter, when school is over, then she can go to the store, do whatever she wants. She also knows in the morning with our routine, I stay with her in the morning. She sleeps and wakes up to get her with her morning routine. My wife goes to work out, goes to the spa, gets herself ready and done. So she's fresh and ready when she comes and gets her coffee and she does her thing, right? Kid loves to go for her iPad. She's 7 years old, Aaron. She's 7 years old. So first thing she wants to do is get her iPad. And my wife always leaves her a note. Brush your teeth, put away the dishes, and then you can get your iPad. You know what this chick asked me today? Because the note was on her iPad. My wife knows she goes there first. Says it's charged overnight. She goes, do you think, not like, do you think, no, I don't think that. Do you think that because the note is on my iPad, I could use my iPad. It's like, no. She's slick, right? Do you like, nah, bro, you're not
She's
getting
trying to
me in
get you
that
both
trouble.
killed. Yeah. She's
So,
trying to get you both killed, man.
so it is figuring out what that one thing is, pouring yourself into it, bringing value to it, and then delivering that to the world.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And Kings, as you're listening in here, listen, Dr. Obom knows what he's talking about in many different facets. Can't wait for you guys to be able to connect with him inside of the app. We've got some awesome stuff planned. Some of his trainings are going to be inside the app, inside of the network. Really just, we're all trying to rise together. And Dr. Obom, I appreciate you being on the show. So any last words that you want to share? And do me a favor and kind of plug where people can catch up with you on social media or whatever you want to share.
Yeah. So one of the best ways to connect with me is through Facebook. That's where I'm the most active. You guys will probably laugh your asses off because mostly I just put a bunch of jokes and inspiration on there. Find me on Facebook, Obom Bowen. It's just right there. I'm the only one in the world. Obama is the only thing that comes up close. So you don't pick him, pick me. So that's where you can find me, right? So I'll leave.
And we'll make sure we'll tag this in the show notes and everything.
Absolutely. I'll leave with this. Whatever tools you have, and the Comeback Kings, the podcast and everything, the app, that's a tool. Leverage the tools that you have so that you can profit from your purpose. I know, Aaron, you're putting a lot of tools within the app, within the whole Comeback Kings area. So that's what I'll leave you guys with, Kings. Leverage the tools of your trade so that you can profit from it. Other than that, what we're looking for is available, providing that we're willing to work enough to make it happen. There is nothing that comes to us easy. Anybody who tells you that it does is lying to you. That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, Kings, you heard it straight from his mouth, Dr. Obom. Appreciate your time, brother. I know. Listen, what are you about to do? Go downstairs and work on your tan now? Is that what's next?
No, bro. I have one call left, but then after that, I got a 2-hour opening for my wife and I to have some special time.
Listen, let's not talk about that anymore on here.
Yeah, but that was.
Hey, you might be on the couch after having to scold her this morning. So I don't know if you're going to be having any of that time, but
Nah, bro.
that's up to you guys to figure out.
I already ordered her favorite drink, her favorite snack, and she sent me a message telling me like, thank you. And then her question was, what are you up to? And I just responded back, And she started laughing. So she's already in a good mood. She's prepared.
All right. Well, we got to let this brother go so he can go take care of things. But again, appreciate your time.
Absolutely,
and
brother.
Hopefully this is not the last time the Kings get a chance to see you.
No, man. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you're doing to bring more clarity into the world and give folks the ability to focus on what it is, they desire, and giving them the steps and opportunities to do so and make it happen, man.
100%. Appreciate you. All right, Kings, you know the drill. You got to remember this every single time. Your setback will not define you. It's going to be your comeback that will. Till next time. Peace. That does it for another episode of the Comeback Kings podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, and come join the after party inside the app at cbknetwork.com. And remember, your past doesn't define you. Your comeback will.